Tonight, a fatality-free Easter on our roads despite drivers injured in nasty crashes. And a great success as Wyler unearths its newest event.
This is Southern Cross News with Tim Hatfield.
Good evening, but first tonight a bid by 11 South Australian companies, including Arium and Nearstar, to negotiate a long-term electricity supply contract has been approved by the competition watchdog. The state's Chamber of Mines and Energy has welcomed the ruling, saying it can now move forward and get a better deal.
In February, 11 large South Australian businesses, led by the Chamber of Mines and Energy, joined forces to get a better deal for their electricity bills. Before starting negotiations, they needed approval from the ACCC to overcome anti-competition laws. The circuit breaker has been delivered, with the competition watchdog approving the plan last week.
Rod Sims has actually come out and quoted that the joint tender could result in a more competitive wholesale market. And that there didn't appear to be any competitiveness, anti-competitiveness in it.
The group of companies, which includes Nearstar and Arium, consume 14% of the state's electricity. Ms. Knowles says their need for large amounts of power, combined with our unstable pricing, is costing them dearly.
And they represent really between 10 and 40% of total costs. So when you couple that with an increase in contract prices that is somewhere to 30 to 80% higher than previous rates.
Member for Giles Eddie Hughes says the plan has the state government's backing.
By doing the bulk buy of electricity, hopefully getting a good deal in the market.
Ms. Knowles says the next stage of the plan is to go to the market and find an operator willing to do a deal for up to 250 megawatts.
The companies are prepared to lock into contracts for 11 years, which gives the retailers some surety of forward pricing.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Police have welcomed the fatality-free long weekend. For the first time in several years, drivers were well behaved, and with a large amount of traffic on the roads, they managed to prevent any road fatalities.
Holiday makers packed their cars and flocked to the region this weekend for the Easter break, which resulted in high volumes of traffic on our major highways.
Particularly down the York Peninsula, the Copper Coast and the Augusta Highway.
The police were happy to report it was a fatality-free weekend for South Australia. They were well prepared and their presence didn't go unnoticed on our major highways, most making the effort to obey the road rules.
The driver behaviour, in our view, was above average, and we were really pleased with the low level of offending in general.
Although there were no fatalities, there were several incidents. A crash just outside Moonta on Friday night saw a man flown to Adelaide with severe injuries, and there was a serious crash here in Port Pirie last night.
A person has been conveyed to the Royal Adelaide Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. We're investigating several possibilities as a result of that accident. One of those possibilities is that it might have been as a result of a medical episode.
But overall, most motorists stuck to the road rules.
I must say that the offending rate and the collision rate was below what we've anticipated considering last year's and what's happened in last year's.
Keziah Sullivan, Southern Cross News.
And New South Wales Police in Broken Hill are appealing for information following an alleged home invasion in the Silver City over the long weekend. The frightening break-in prompted a warning from police about securing your house when it's time for bed.
At around 9 o'clock on Saturday night, the occupant of a house in Iodide Street received the fright of her life when a man believed to be of Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander descent broke into her home.
The male was very unfortunately indecently assaulted and exposed himself to the lady. He's also stolen her purse and a tablet before he's run from the premises, and I believe the last direction he was seen was heading towards Chapel Street.
The purse was returned the next day, and police are calling for the person who dropped it off to come forward and provide information. Any witnesses who may have seen the man wearing a black hoodie and black shorts throughout the night are being encouraged to contact Crime Stoppers.
It's concerning for us, in particular, that It's happened about 8:45 p.m. on Saturday night. The lights are on, the lady is at home. So it's a very brazen incident to come inside. It's different if the house was in darkness and it was your traditional break-ins.
It was a busy weekend for road patrols in the region too, with officers conducting over 2,500 breath tests as part of Operation Tortoise.
We didn't have too many major incidents. We had no major fatal accidents or serious accidents in that time, which is good.
54 tickets for speeding were issued and 11 for seatbelt infractions. The worst case came in Wilcannia when a 29-year-old disqualified female driver was pulled over.
Everyone inside the car, so 5 people, all unrestrained. The woman was taken to the Wilcannia police station. It's alleged when she underwent breath analysis she had a reading of 0.2. She was also unlicensed and was also in fact disqualified from holding or obtaining a licence until 2027.
Mr Fuller says it's simple. If you drink, don't drive. If you don't have a licence, don't get in the car or you will be found. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Thousands flocked trackside over the Easter long weekend to witness Port Lincoln's first motor sprint race. The Teakle Auto Sprint showcased 66 top circuit cars, including everything from Ferraris to V8 supercars. The tight corners proved a bit of a handful for many, including Greg Van Diemen, who came off second best after colliding with the barrier. Dan Day took out the inaugural race with the best time in his WRX. Organisers already eyeing off next year's date after the event's success. We'll hear from them tomorrow. A driver has lost his car and his licence after being arrested for drink driving in Wyler over the long weekend. Just after 2 a.m. on Sunday, police spotted a man doing a burnout on the intersection of Norrie Avenue and Nicholson Avenue. The driver was stopped and breath tested, returning an alleged blood alcohol reading of 0.147, nearly 3 times the legal limit. The 30-year-old was reported for misusing a motor vehicle and for drink driving. He was issued with an instant 6-month driving ban and had his car impounded for 28 days. He'll face court at a later date. Well, stay with us. Still to come in tonight's local news. Trader pain as the Port Pirie CBD upgrade continues. What's being done to get customers back into the city? Welcome back. A man from Clare was arrested over the weekend for allegedly trafficking cannabis. A large amount of dried cannabis was found at the Clare address, along with a small amount of methamphetamine and drug equipment. The 23-year-old man was reported and will appear in court at a later date. Port Pirie businesses are feeling the sting of the CBD upgrade, with many traders experiencing a severe loss in business. The interruption has been running for 4 months now, but the end is in sight, with the completion date set for the end of May.
Heavy machinery and construction is shying people away from the CBD. Businesses are feeling the heat with trading down, but the council says with underground works nearly complete, there is some relief on the way.
We're hoping for an end of May completion, which is a little bit behind our original program, and we're aiming for a great street party in June.
It hasn't been smooth sailing for the project. Several issues have set back the completion date, but with the underground works out the way, it's now time for the reconstruction of the street surface.
But that shouldn't cause too much issues like we have had in the past with the major underground works that were completed earlier.
With the pressure on businesses, the council is planning to create an incentive to encourage customers back into the CBD.
More information will be coming out very soon on that, but we're hoping that people will come into the CBD, spend their money and have the opportunity to win a prize.
And hopefully it won't be long before a bit of colour is added to the project.
All the foundations have been put in place for the street furniture, which people won't be able to see yet, but certainly the things that people can see are the nice wide footpaths that have really brightened up the area.
Keziah Sullivan, Southern Cross News.
A statewide trial is set to see perpetrators of domestic violence monitored by GPS trackers. The Corrections Department will begin a trial on 90 offenders who will be fitted with tracking ankle bracelets, which will monitor if they breach restraining orders. The Corrections Minister says the technology is similar to that used for people released on bail or parole and will help keep tabs on repeat offenders. A Broken Hill Tourist Information Centre and a connecting cafe are counting the cost of damage caused by a break-in on Saturday night. A group of thieves smashed the front door of the Gloria Jean's cafe, attempting to jimmy open an ATM and then tried to kick through interior walls to access offices during the break-in. Nothing appeared to be stolen and police are continuing to investigate. Any witnesses are urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Well, the fight against the flu has begun this year, with doctors firmly recommending children and the elderly consider being immunised straight away. The flu jab is available free of charge for vulnerable South Australians and will pack a stronger hit to avoid record outbreaks in recent years.
It's the knockout jab to win the influenza fight.
Now being autumn is an ideal time to have your flu shots. We recommend it for certainly the elderly and anyone who has a chronic condition, but the recent recommendations are that children should have their immunisations for flu as well.
Doctors across South Australia, including locally here on the Eyre Peninsula, are bracing for an influenza war, with 7,000 cases already confirmed, up 20% on last year. The vital message: all pregnant women and children should get their shot now.
In previous years, we haven't been suggesting it for children, but the recent data is that, or suggestion by the authorities, is that children should really consider having it.
In 2015, there were 11,000 recorded cases of the virus. The outbreak flooding hospitals across the state. Doctors urging everyone to be on the front foot this year to prevent a similar spike.
2 years ago, there was a lot of children with it and a lot of sick little kiddies. So I would suggest that everybody consider having it done.
Approximately 3,000 Australians die every year from influenza. In reaction, the government is now making it easier and more accessible to get the jab this year.
Go to the local GP is a good idea. Some clinics are running flu vaccine clinics, so you just come in, have your jab and go. But certainly you can also get it through the pharmacists in town.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us when we return after the break. A great success as Wyler unearths its newest event. To look at some of the action next. Welcome back. The Wyler Unearth Festival is here to stay after thousands of locals turned out for the two-day event over Easter. Locals enjoyed a variety of performers in the Ada Ryan Gardens as the city's newest event had a successful start.
Good weather and good tunes were the order of the weekend at the Ada Ryan Gardens, as Wyler unearthed itself to the world.
So good, Wyler, very good.
Fringe director Heather Kroll has praised the setup, saying the gardens were as good as any city fringe venue.
With the big fig tree and all the lovely trees, and I mean it's just absolutely glorious, like a little botanic garden, a botanic park.
Adelaide Fringe acts not only performed live, but held workshops to teach budding performers, both young and old, the tricks of the trade. Cabaret star Anya Anastasia held a ukulele class and says it was a nice change to get interactive with the crowd.
Work with people and get to know what everyone's, interests are and that kind of thing. You get a much more intimate connection with people. Really.
Local acts like Jack Sperling also had the chance to perform side by side with established acts.
Yeah, it feels amazing to be surrounded by those people and being able to have the chance to play with these people.
Mayor Lynn Brewer says the big and boisterous crowd suggests the event has got the tick of approval from locals. She says it'll be back next year.
It was excellent, but I think we can build on that. We will get better and bigger, and we can really look forward to next year.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
There's been a surge across the nation in the number of households installing solar panels. With the country's second biggest solar farm in its backyard, Broken Hill has also seen a rise in the volume of solar panels being set up on local roofs.
Everywhere you look, you'd be hard-pressed not to spot them on at least one roof. More and more Australians are soaking up the sun in more ways than one.
Since mid last year, we've seen an impressive rise in the number and volume of solar panels going into homes and businesses across the country.
Solar panel installations have hit their highest levels in 5 years, with 15,000 homes and businesses across the nation getting them installed in March alone. While Queensland led the way, New South Wales and South Australia were close behind.
New South Wales has had an impressive rise in volumes installed. Again, almost double its value that about 12 months previously to 21 megawatts installed in March 2017.
That's the equivalent to over 4,500 Australian households worth of energy consumption. And in the Silver City, home to the nation's second biggest solar farm, the sun is shining bright.
Broken Hill has always punched above its weight when it comes to solar uptake, both with the solar farm that's there, but also across the many households and businesses that have installed solar on their roofs. The suburb of Broken Hill is in the top 20 postcodes of New South Wales for installed capacity.
Australians are now looking towards storage of solar power through new battery technology. A standard size battery could set you back up to $10,000.
We see that people are investing in batteries for blackout protection, for the reasons of wanting to make more self-sufficiency for their home by absorbing their solar power that's produced during the day for later use at night, and really giving them a sense of independence.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Junior football players representing 7 clubs across Port Lincoln were given 30 brand new footballs from the Bendigo Bank to kick off their footy season. The footies form part of the contribution from Bendigo Bank injecting back into the Port Lincoln community.
It's a hand pass in the right direction.
It does your heart good to see just such a wonderful lineup of kids that are going to play a team sport, and if our bank can help it make it a bit better, well, that's what we're going to do. It's fantastic.
Bendigo Bank kicked off Port Lincoln's junior football season by donating 30 brand new footies to spread across the league this year. The bank hoping the gifts hold the young players in good stead for the year and beyond.
The real network of a rural town, and if we can encourage these young people to be part of a team and part of it in the future, they're going to be better citizens and they're going to be better placed for it.
The kids eager to test out their new merchandise and skills amongst each other.
It's just a privilege that we have such a good bank that helps everyone in the community.
Clubs around the region offering high praise for the new resources and commitment to developing future players and people.
Oh, I think it's fantastic to get involved and put some input back into the community. I think it's fantastic.
Bendigo Bank has so far injected $1.8 million into the local community and are determined to keep giving back.
The response has been so good, we might double it next year.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us after the break. We'll have a look at how the local weather is panning out for this shortened week. Welcome back. Turning to the weather now on a fine and sunny day as we headed back to work after the long weekend. 33 the top in Port Augusta and 34 Wyler. Port Lincoln 26 the top today, 32 in Port Pirie, Broken Hill fine on 30. On the national satellite image, thick cloud is moving across the region. With it, we can expect some lingering showers to develop as of tomorrow. Out on the Gulf waters, the winds to 15 knots into the northeast, the seas to 1.5 metres and southerly sunrise at around 6:45. So showers around into tomorrow, 29 the top in Port Augusta and in Wyler. Port Lincoln expecting 24 degrees, Broken Hill and Port Pirie both on 30. And then looking ahead, we've got showers all week by the looks of it. 24 on Thursday and Friday in Port Lincoln, but becoming fine into the weekend. 24 then, 23 to wrap up the week for Cleve. Woodner on 27 with showers around until Friday. Wyler with a wet 25 on both Thursday and Friday, 26 and 27 for Port Augusta, 25 on Thursday and on Friday as well over in Cadino. Port Pirie with a wet 26 and then 27 for Thursday and Friday, 22 then 23 in Clare, but also fine into Saturday. Showers and 25 on Thursday in Broken Hill, then 24 for Friday. The showers though set to linger into Saturday as well for the Silver City. And that is the local news for this Tuesday evening. Hope you had a wonderful Easter break. Don't forget you can stay up to date with us on Facebook and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email and catch past programs on our YouTube page. We'll see you back here tomorrow night from 6:30. I'm Tim Hatfield from the Southern Cross News team. Enjoy your evening. Good night.